morning, students. Welcome to Math Lesson 119, May 20th, 2020. It's hard to believe there's only Math Lesson 120 and Investigation 12 left. All right, today we are talking about dividing by decimal numbers again. But this time we're going to talk about it a little bit differently. So, we practiced dividing by decimal numbers by whole numbers. And in this lesson, we will practice dividing numbers by decimal numbers. So, the two problems below are different in an important way. All right, this one doesn't have a decimal in the divisor, and this one does have a decimal in the divisor. So, this is a whole number divided by a whole number, and this one's divided by a decimal number. So, when dividing by a decimal number with a pencil and paper, we have to take an extra step. Before dividing, we shift the decimal points so that we are dividing by a whole number instead of a decimal number. So, as you can see right here, we have our decimal number. We need to shift the decimal over to the right to make this a whole number, a 3. All right, and then this decimal will move over. All right, and this will become a 1.2. All right, so think about it. We are making this into a whole number, so we're shifting the decimal over one place because there's only one decimal, one digit to the right of the decimal. Then we will be shifting the decimal over here one place, okay? So, to help us understand why this procedure works, we write 12 hundredths divided by 3/10 with the division bar. So there you go, you have your 12 hundredths and your 3/10. Notice that we changed the divisor into a whole number by multiplying times 10. So that goes times 10, then we're multiplying 1.2 by 3. All right, so we multiply by 10/10, that moves both the decimal points over. Now the divisor is the whole number and we can divide. Now, this is not a step that you will always have to go through, okay? This is just something that helps you understand what we are doing when we are changing this 10th into a whole number so that we can divide. And our decimal will be in the right place. All right. So, our question up here is, how is dividing a decimal by a whole number the same as dividing a decimal by a decimal? How is it different? So, we use the same division steps every time, right? What is different is we place the decimal point above the decimal point in the dividend. So we need to rewrite the decimal point in the quotient after we have moved it into the dividend. So we need to do the step of changing this to a whole number, moving the decimal before we move the decimal up. All right, let's go to our next part. So when we talk about this, here's our decimal chart again. So we need to add the memory cue about dividing by a whole number, D. So what this is talking about is you have your decimal point, you move it over, you move your decimal point over in your number, and then you bring it up, okay? All right, so here we go. Here's our only example today before we need to do our lesson practice. So we are going to divide 6/10 by 2 34 hundredths. All right. So first thing that we need to do is we need to move the decimal point over to make this a whole number 6, right? Then we move this decimal point over 1 and bring it up. Okay. So 6 goes into 23 3 times. That's 18. We subtract, we get 5. We bring down the 4. 6 goes into 54 9 times. 6 times 9 is 54, and our remainder is 0. Now, how would we check our answer? We would check our answer by doing our 3.9 times, or 3 9/10 times 6/10, and that equals 3, I'm just getting carried away with the 3s, 2 34 hundredths. All right, we check our division with the opposite operation. All right, let's move this out of the way so that we can do our lesson practice. Whoops. Okay, and here we go. Our first problem in our lesson practice is going to be 3/10 goes into 1/12, or 1 2/10. So guess what? The first thing I do is I move my decimal over, make it a whole number, right? Here I move my decimal over, the same number. 3, now we're just multiplying 12 by 3, which you all know is 4, correct? 3 times 4 is 12, and there we go. Now, here we go again. Move your decimal over one place to make this a whole number. Move your decimal over right here, bring it up. All right, 3 goes into 4 once. First, if I did 3 goes into 0, 0 times 3 goes into 4 once. 3 times 1 is 3. I subtract, I get 1. I bring down my 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. I subtract, and I get 0. All right, so my answer is 1 4/10. All right, here we go. We have the decimal there. We need to bring it over here and make this 12. We need to bring this decimal over here, bring it up here. Now we look and we go 12 goes into 0, 0 times. 12 goes into 2, 0 times. But 12 goes into 24 2 times, correct? 12 times 2 is 24. We subtract, and our answer is 2/10. Here we go, here we go, here we go again. All right, make this a whole number. Bring this over, put our decimal there, bring our decimal up here. 4 goes into 0, 0 times. 4 goes into 2, 0 times. I guess I could just use that 0 from there. And 4 goes into 24 6 times. So 4 times 6 is 24. Our answer is 6/10. Here we go. All right, I won't keep singing. Here we go. We have 4 as a whole number again. I need to move the decimal over once there. This is going to be 4 into 56 now, correct? So I don't even need to put the decimal up there, but in order for you to understand, I'll put it up there. All right, it would come after the whole number. So 4 goes into 5 once. 4 times 5 is 4. Subtract. I have 1. I bring down my 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times. And 4 times 4 is 16. Subtract. I get 0. I have 14 as my number. So I really divided 56 by 4 after I moved my decimals, correct? All right, that decimal goes there. This decimal goes here, and guess what? Once again, I have 2 whole numbers now, right? 36 divided by 12. So 12 goes into 3 0 times. 12 goes into 36 3 times. 12 times 3 is 36. And there we go. I have 3 for my answer for that. So I didn't have to have the 0, and I didn't have to have the decimal there either, did I? All right, here we go. We're moving this over. Moving that over, I'm going to have a whole number again. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. I subtract. I have 0. All right, here we go. Move my decimal. Move my decimal here. Now I bring it up here. And 5 goes into 0. 5 goes into 1 0 times. 5 goes into 2 0 times. But 5 goes into 20. Oh, I need to slow down on that, didn't I? 5 goes into 1 0 times. But 5 goes into 12 once. 5 times, no, it goes in there twice. My, oh my, I needed to. All right, 5 times 2 is 10. And I need to bring down the 5. All right, so 5 goes into 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, and there we go. I have 25 hundredths as my answer. All right, and our last problem. I need to move the decimal over, make this 12. Move this decimal over, bring that up there. All right, 12 goes into 22 once. 12 times 1 is 12. I need to subtract. I get 10. I bring down the 8. Now, 12 goes into 108. I think about that. I know that, let's see, 12 times 8 is 96. So 12 times 9 is 108. 2 times 9 is 18. Put the 1 up above. 1 times 9 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Subtract, and I have 1 9/10 as my answer. All right, good luck on your more dividing decimals, and we'll see you at 10.